Welcome to the Positive Pants Podcast. Mindset, motivation and inspiration to help you find your positive pants. It's time to let go of negative thinking, understand why you do what you do and stop the self-sabotage with your host, Fran Excel.
Welcome to the show. As always, it's Fran Excel, your resident subconscious success mentor, helping you find your very own pair of positive pants so you can get out of your own way and live a life that you love. If you want to stop self-sabotaging your own success and let go of the stress, then you are in the right place, my friend. Make sure you download your free Stressed to Success guided meditation at bit.ly/stress to success as my little gift to you just for being here. Please do subscribe, share and review. It really, really helps people that need to hear this message find us, and I so appreciate it. In the show notes, you'll also find details of how you can work with me and where you can get your mitts on my meditations, products, printables, programs. You can find it through the link in my bio on Instagram, which is my favorite place to hang out. So please do come join me over there at I'm Fran Excel. Tag me in your takeaways, slide into my DMs. I'm here for it. So that's the formalities over, my love. So let's jump to the content. Why do you need a personal philosophy for success? Having a personal philosophy or a life philosophy, whatever you want to call it, is so important when it comes to your success. Living a happy life, achieving your goals and all that fun stuff. Way more important than you might think. So why do so few of us have one? Or have one but don't realise? And then they run around being kind of bothered by things or people and not really understanding why. And what even is a personal philosophy? Your personal philosophy is basically your own personal guidelines, life rules that you choose to live by. Your personal philosophy also incorporates your boundaries, the things you're prepared to put up with and the things that you're not. And this is with other people, but also importantly with yourself. Yeah. Your personal philosophy is also made up of your values. It's about what is most important to you. And when you're not aware of what that is, you can get yourself in a pickle. You might say yes to things you don't want to, or worse, things that you actively know aren't good for you. You might make a decision based on someone else's map of the world rather than your own. Having or knowing your personal philosophy, which is a fun thing to think of. This is a fun little exercise for you, so get excited. It gives you clarity over what you actually want to get out of life. It's a commitment you keep to yourself, how you want to show up, who you want to be. And a personal philosophy gives meaning and direction. It's what you live by. It's what you stand for. Hopefully, you can see that having something like this in place helps you make plans and set goals with you in mind, which is such a huge problem I see. Yeah, people setting goals based on other people's things and stuff. It takes away the unconscious programming that might usually dictate decisions based on what you've learned as a child or from society, and replaces them with ones more aligned to you and who you want to be, without all the layers of other people's stuff. So being aware of them really helps you understand your triggers and where you should also limit your time. I'll give you a few of mine as examples so you can see how it fits into life and business and how you might start to figure out what some of yours are. So first up for me, always be curious. To me, this means not just blindly accepting things. Looking for alternative perspectives to get a well-rounded view of something, not just taking something someone says as fact. It's a little bit like take it with a pinch of salt. A little bit, there's usually 3 versions of a story. One person's the other person's and somewhere is the truth, which is often somewhere in the middle. Curiosity also means, and you know I talk about curiosity a lot, so if you're new around here, you will hear this a lot. Curiosity also means not judging people for their views, right? It's the opposite of judgment. That goes for yourself as well. You know, they're entitled to their view. It may not match mine, but they are entitled to it. It comes from their own conditioning. It certainly doesn't mean that I have to be around those people. It certainly doesn't mean I can't have a conversation with them about it. It certainly doesn't mean I have to agree. It's a very seek to understand kind of vibe. And one of the reasons you don't often hear me giving like major controversial opinions that are hard and fast and unbending, there are some things I feel that way on, of course. And there are some exceptions to the rule. But even if it's staunchly against my values, I can see empathy for someone else's point of view and where it may have come from. When you understand this stuff, it's very difficult to do that, right? It's certainly, like I say, doesn't mean I have to agree with them or be around them. I can share my point of view in the hope that it might make them think differently, for sure. But I can seek to understand even if I don't agree. I don't need to be a part of call out or cancel culture. You know, I can see someone behaving a certain way and think, I wonder what X, Y, Z has triggered in them, or I wonder what their ego is saying right now, or I wonder what happened to them when they were young that caused the need for this behavior or where this belief came from, without the need to get angry or triggered myself, which is a much calmer place to be, right? And I can also unfollow and block. Hooray! As much as we'd like to, we can't change other people unless they want to change for themselves. But having this life philosophy of curiosity, it also means that I don't judge myself in my business or in anything else really. As someone who used to beat myself up all the time, this is pretty big. I'm always curious as to what might be going on for me. The vast majority of my clients come to me constantly beating themselves up and berating themselves. They're stuck in the self-blame, self-shame cycle. So incorporating curiosity really is a game changer. And like I say, it doesn't mean you have to agree with things. It doesn't mean you let go of what is right and wrong for you. But it does mean that you can be curious and find empathy over anger and empathy over frustration all of the time, which is a lot better place for you to live from. But again, this is my opinion. Next up is strive for continuous self-improvement and personal growth. So what this means to me will probably make a lot of sense considering what I do and something I say a lot of the time. Stop striving to be a finished product because there really is no such thing. When you always aim for growth, but without it, meaning there is anything wrong with you and that you need to fix, your life is just always going to be improving and getting better. Yeah, that's magical to me, that I'm always going to be better the next day than the day before. Even if that's from a good place to start. Yeah? I would not be where I am without this philosophy. Because even if you have a bad day, when you have this philosophy in mind, again, you're kind of like looking for the growth opportunities, looking for what you can learn. It's a completely different attitude to approach life with. Yeah? Without this, I would still be the most negative person in the room. I'd still have no self-worth or self-esteem. I'd still be spending time with the wrong people, hoping to be accepted and always coming up short. I wouldn't have this deep level of compassion and acceptance for myself. I wouldn't constantly be learning and understanding myself and other people more every day. I wouldn't know how to navigate what I do now for myself and for others, right? When you aim for growth and improvement from a space of just getting better all the time rather than a judgmental I need fixing or I'm wrong place, then it's actually a lot of fun. I am literally never bored. Now, the next philosophy that I have is there can always be a positive to come from a negative if you choose to look for it. And I know some people may struggle with some of these, but this is just to help you find yours. But people can struggle with this one. But I wholeheartedly believe it and live by it. It may take a little time for that positive thing to appear, but I can always find something positive that wouldn't have happened without the negative. Always. I'm grateful for the challenges life throws at me now because of the other philosophies I've just given you as well. I approach it with curiosity over judgment and an opportunity for growth, right? Completely different way to look at your life. And my final one, that is probably the one I talk about the most, and I haven't found an elegant way to say it yet, so I'm just going with it. So if you have kiddos around, make sure you put me on mute now. My last personal philosophy to you today is simple. Don't be a dick. Apologies for the language, but this goes for myself and for others. I'm human and sometimes I might feel the tendency to react from ego from time to time. This philosophy helps me in those moments. I remind myself that I am not that person and I like to leave people a little better than I found them. Sometimes that's not possible, but in those times, this helps me decide to walk away and remove myself from the situation. I have a pretty low tolerance for meanness, nastiness, rudeness. I just don't see a need. But like I say, I'm human, and there are certain times throughout the month that I may feel a little more on edge, but having this philosophy acts as kind of like an anchor or a compass, if you will. But for the people who are mean, nasty, rude from time to time, it's easier for me not to judge them because it's coming from their ego. This is bringing back my curiosity one, yeah? It's from their ego and their conditioning. So I can find empathy for the inner child that needed that strategy to get by in life. But I also don't need to be around it, and I don't need to react to it. So this isn't about being the nicest or the kindest person. Like I say, I am very human. It's about recognizing when it could happen and making a better choice. So those are a few of my little personal life philosophies. And I'm hoping that my sharing this has given you a few nuggets to start you off figuring out yours. You may have really resonated with mine. You may massively feel strongly against them, but that's cool because that shows you and gives you an indicator as to what yours might be. Yeah, and helps you see why it's important. These are like guiding lighthouses in my business, in my personal life. Yeah. And I really had a lot of fun creating this episode, so I hope you enjoyed listening to it. So when you're thinking about your personal philosophy, think about what's important to you in life. What is it that you really care about? What is absolutely non-negotiable in your life? And what really gets your goat in other people? Yeah. I would actually really love you to share yours with me. So tag me in on Instagram at I'm Fran Excel, or just DM me if you want it to be private, of course, because I really, really love to hear other people's philosophies, because when you do, it gives you more ideas for your own, and you're like, yeah, I can see how that could be amazing in my life or in my relationships or in my business to bring that in. It's not about being perfect at these things all the time. It's about them being your guiding force. So I hope that was helpful, and I really, really, really hope that you share some with me. So if you got value from this and you know in your gut that now is the time to step up and start rewiring your thinking and start changing things for yourself, then book in a free discovery call so we can work out what needs to happen to get you from where you're at right now to the action-taking success you know you can be. If you want my eyes and ears on your problems, then I work with people one-on-one and through my programs. You can find all the details to booking a call in the show notes, the link in my bio on Instagram, and on my website, franexcel.com. So stop waiting for if and when and choose to change things now because you can. I'm here to believe in you when you don't believe in yourself. And as always, I hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you next week. Bye.